A number of organisations that rise and fall during the 60s and 70s and probably early 80s. And the West Indian Students' Union was a casualty of that.
Yes, it is time for us to stop, reflect, contemplate, and whatever have you. In retrospect, looking back to, you'd say, the 1960s, when you'd say all was dry and sundry. I had only just arrived from Jamaica in 1962. And the weather was bad. Now, the reason I'm trying to reflect here and now is to look at the blossoming organization. One of the organizations which surfaced on the horizon at that time, mid-60s, say ending of 1966, was an organization called the Nottingham West Indian Students Association. Well, it was called Students' Union at first. This organization might actually ring bells, because what did I say? Ending of 1966. So January, the incoming will be at least 43 years that the Nottingham West Indian Students Association has engendered its actual existence. Doesn't exist anymore. It lived 5 dramatic years and then it flaked out. And now, what constitutes an organization of this kind? You'd say they have blossomed out of a crop of West Indians who came here with an agenda, some sort of response for British reconstruction and development.
What actually prompted the setting up of the West Indian Student Union? And you need to understand that dynamics that was going on there. So the Student Union didn't come out of a mad idea. It came up of other things that were going on around the time.
There was an earlier batch of West Indians coming from the 40s in order to replenish the stock, in order to prepare for World War. But coming back to the Nottingham West Indian Students Association, a distinctive group of students met in the house of a man called Mr. Crosdale. Milton Crosdale. He was about, well, was it 19, 20 years old at the time. We're talking about ending of 1966. Mark you.
It brought a number of like-minded people together. The John Wrays of this world.
And a number of his friends, just some of their names, as I'm having Cecile Henry, Neville Ballin, Evadne Henry, Winsome Henry, Jonathan Gregory, Earl Binger, Orette Hilton, and Owen Hines.
By having a group of like-minded people together, it helped to actually chart where we wanted to go.
They were all encouraged by yours truly, the late Mr. Eric Irons. Well, if you've got a seed in the making, just go and manifest. Be manifested. Be forthwith, positive, and upstanding. Mr. Eric Irons was invited to sit in as its first chairman in the inception of the organization. But the first president, once again elect, was Milton Crosdale. And his vice president was Mr. John Wray, because words were getting around in St. Anne's. The St. Anne's that we knew was coming from out of the caucus, 200,000 strong population, getting stronger and stronger and bigger and bigger.
What we wanted to do was to establish an organisation which encouraged the individual as well as the collective.
And all sorts of other things are happening at the same time, because churches, Pentecostal-led churches, were mushrooming, but no community centres, no involvement in house buying, was few and far between. So there was a need, as Milton Crosdale articulated, with others like Ainsley Deer, who was just preparing for a university place.
I remember the challenge when we had with the first magazine, and appointed Ainsley as the editor of that magazine. The hopes and aspiration for this new magazine hitting the street, and how people snapped it up at that particular time.
And what they were articulating was the need for us as West Indians to come together, leading to meaningful dialogue. Dialogue about housing conditions and situations of that time, and employment.
So it's all about trying to infuse people, give us a sense of commonality, of purpose, of unity, which propel the formation of that organisation.
Because Mr. George Power was around about this time, George Lee, that these men were preoccupied with the same sort of thing, with the West Indian National Organization, and then there's also the Caribs, West Indian men gathering together, but the actual aims and objectives of the Nottingham West Indian Students Association was educational. So, at the ending, coming towards the ending of 1967, I emerged on the scene. I was coming in order to canvass to become the next president for the new academic year.
That is where you took over, because I voted in that election. I remember all the trauma and the carry-on about it. So I was there, yes.
There are 4 of us in this contest.
You and John were going for the presidency, can you remember? And you pipped him to it. Yes.
As it happens, at the drop of a hat, tick of a flash, I was invited to serve as president, the new president. Whereupon the which I invited Mr. Louis Morgan to serve as chair of the new Music and Drama Committee. So this is what I had actually brought. My aims and objectives were artistic. This is the end product. These are LPs at the time, which were pressed at my behest.